All right.
Part of it.
Welcome, everybody, to a very special pro wrestling fans women edition. Um,
There.
I was gonna have a little. I was gonna have a little bit more, but we got Becky on the right, Mel to my left.
Hello.
So I have to ask you. I have to ask you, Becky. When did you start becoming a fan of wrestling?
Well, most of my life, actually. I grew up watching WWF. I was watching things like that and American Gladiators and things like that as a kid. So I started watching it young, and then lost track for a few years as I was growing older. Um, but then when my son was a little bit younger, we discovered WWE together. He discovered it. I'm like, all right, we can watch this again. And it was a staple in our house for years. So
Well, I think Mel. She you started watching it when
I started watching it when I met you.
that's 2005. So there you go. But she got the chance to see like people like Batista and Randy Orton and Edge
cool.
and Jericho and
You got to meet Jericho
got to meet
a long,
Jericho.
long time ago.
Nice, nice. His
Yeah,
band's pretty good too.
yeah, and we got to. Well, I remember she telling me a story that one time when she was living in New Jersey, that she flipped on the TV and saw that Hogan was on TNT, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that was during the Monday Night Wars."
I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't really know. I mean, I knew who. I mean, I didn't really know who any of these people were, but I just happened to notice them.
when you would talk to guys, Becky, would they be surprised that you were in the wrestling, or they?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. They'd be surprised that I was into wrestling. Yeah, and it's just funny because like it's fun to watch. It really is. And, obviously, I mean, I do want to train and get in the ring myself at some point, but yeah, it was just fun to watch and it was always a good time. You just how everything's put together is just really it's fun. So, but yeah, a lot of people, not just guys, but women too, like, why are you watching that? Because I like it.
You know, Mel's the kind of person when she would watch it, she'd be like, "Okay, they didn't connect. They didn't do that. They didn't do this."
The wrestling back then was a lot better than the wrestling is now. But that's just my opinion of it. Only because I don't know. It's just things are more predictable now.
Oh yeah. Storylines, everything's predictable.
Mm.
And that was part of the fun of watching wrestling back in the day because it really wasn't. I mean, you had an idea, but at the end, there'd be some kind of surprise. So,
Well, I mean, now that they have Triple H in charge of creative, things have been a lot more better without Vince McMahon in charge.
yeah.
And creative, I've seen a lot more. Like I watched the Rumble for the first time in a while, and I was pleasantly surprised about how good Triple H did with it. And it was really like, okay, some shockers. All right.
Right.
I'm like, this is something, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the internet came around the time of the Monday Night Wars. There was a whole AOL, and then everybody started having the dirt sheet so they can go on to the little spooky. And now it's like everybody's got an opinion on it, pretty much now. So,
hmm
um, when you were watching wrestling, Becky, like out of the females, like who was your go to girl?
When I was a kid, it was Miss Elizabeth because she was like a princess when she was there. So it was just really cool to watch her. And then when I rediscovered, when I started watching with my son, definitely Michelle McCool because she actually wrestles and she has that talent and she's a brain. She was actually a school teacher before she became a wrestler, which is pretty awesome, to follow your passion, go from one career and totally follow your passion and be successful. And she got to marry the Undertaker.
What's interesting is that she was actually afraid of him at first. She was afraid to meet him and talk to him. And actually, she was in the Rumble and she was sitting in the crowd. And she went in there with a bunch of. All she did was go in there with a pair of sweats and some Uggs, and she was in the crowd, and she was like, "They called my name, okay, okay." I mean, but yeah, Michelle McCool was. She gets a lot of slack because people are like, "Oh, well, she only got that way because she dated the Undertaker." You know,
You know, the thing is, not everybody gets free ride just because they're dating somebody in the
Thank you. Yeah,
And that's
you're
why-
absolutely right.
I mean, that bothers me when someone says, "Well, the only reason why you're this way or this is happening to you is because you're dating this person." I'm like, no. Sometimes, I mean, that's just a major, huge assumption about somebody based on absolutely no facts whatsoever. So, shut up.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's that kind of thing I hear all the time. I'm like,
well, they said the same thing about Brie Bella with Daniel Bryan because she's married.
I mean, the thing about it is that no, this is the stuff that fans say.
Yeah.
This is the shit that fans come up with. And I'm like, first of all, how the hell do you know what this person is doing? Like what kind of, stuff that they're getting or whatever. They can get this way just by on their own. Not everybody gets a free ride just because they're, dating or married to some big ass legendary wrestler or whatever.
That's true. They'd have to be able to hold their own and show and really prove themselves before even getting involved. So
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
I will give Nikki Bella. I don't really like Nikki Bella very much, but I will give her credit where credit's due. When she won that belt in 2016, yes, she was dating John Cena at the time and whatever, but she worked her ass off to get better.
Yep.
So
sometimes I think shows like that actually can destroy somebody's reputation or their humanity, really, because they're constantly under the spotlight, and that they TV doesn't do justice for people. It can make or break somebody's character. It really can.
It really can. That's very true.
Well, I showed Mel some old clips. She really liked Lita. Lita was one person she liked. I know she also
I liked Trish.
She liked Paige. Well, now Sarah in AEW by her real name. I think you even like Mickie James too. And there's a couple of them that you.
Yeah, there's several of them that I do like. I really liked Natty too, and then all of a sudden she got. I'm not saying that she just doesn't look the same now after all that cosmetic surgery she had done. But there's several female wrestlers that I really do like or used to like and all that, and you just don't see them on TV much anymore now.
No,
I mean now you have. I can't. I don't even know half of the people that are on the women's roster now. To be honest with you, that's what's sad about
besides Becky, Bayley, and and Charlotte.
Yeah.
Which in most cases, if anybody has ever seen Bayley, like Mel likes to say, she likes to wear butt pads.
I'm sorry, Bayley looks like she wears butt pads. I mean,
Bayley with the butt pads.
Yeah, she looks like she wears butt pads. So, yeah.
Now, who was your go-to for the men back then? Like, what was
my go-to for an event?
No, not like if you're like
who was your favorite male wrestler?
Yeah, back then.
Bret Hart. I don't know what it was about him. He was my favorite when I was younger. And then a toss-up between Randy Orton and John Cena when I got older. Basically the theatrics behind the both of them, and they kept their character essentially the whole spiel the whole time. And of course I love the Undertaker. Who doesn't? It's like that's a given. Of course you gotta love the Undertaker. You do. So those are a few of my favorites. So
when I wrestled back then, I actually mimic a lot of my style with Bret's because he never really his punches, when he punched somebody, it looked like he actually really connected when he would punch people in that corner. And it's like that sharpshooter was just, that is one of the most pain in the ass things to do to somebody, because you got to remember how you put your leg in, how to put it over here, twist them this way, bring them over here, and it's just I like the technicality Bret had, but Bret was also a brawler too, which is if anyone's ever heard the Hart Dungeon, I remember there was a video I watched of Bret Hart, and while he was recording the interview, his dad was down there having all these young guys out there, and you could see old man Stu Hart's over there twisting boys, like twisting them, making them scream bloody murder in the basement, and I'm just like, that's just great.
And there's one female wrestler that I wanted to bring up. I've only watched clips of what she's done, but just for the fact that she's an OG from back in the day and she did it most of her life. That's Mae Young.
Oh yeah. You know what? She gave if you go back and watch old clips, she gave birth to a hand. Back in the Attitude Era. She was into Mark Henry. She got power bombed off the stage by Bubba Dudley. Mae Young took some.
Yeah, she did. She done tons of cool things, and that's really inspiring for someone like myself that's a little bit older and just seeing like I can still do this stuff. Give me a little bit of time and I'll be on it. But yeah, that's pretty inspiring, honestly, to see somebody that's like their life and they do it and they have fun doing it and they kick ass doing it, and that's pretty sweet. In my opinion.
Did you ever get a lot of slack for liking John Cena because you're a woman?
Yes. And one of my friends actually, is kind of a gag Christmas gift, bought me a John Cena doll. And I still have it. It was really nice. I was like, sweet.
That's actually cool.
Yeah, so he bought me a John Cena action figure. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. So, yeah.
Well, when you put Cena and Randy Orton together, they've had a really good feud. And I remember one Raw, it was them two versus the entire Raw roster.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a pretty fun thing because they just kept hitting RKOs out of nowhere. And Mel liked John Cena.
I still do like John Cena.
Oh yeah.
Between John Cena and Hulk Hogan, and Daniel Bryan.
I like Daniel Bryan. Isn't he like Bryan Danielson now?
Yes.
He's always going to be Daniel Bryan to me too, but yeah.
I mean, his legal name is Bryan Danielson, but he'll always be Daniel Bryan. I love the I had the what was it the yes towels.
Yeah, I got the yes towel. We went to a Raw and I got her the yes towel. And I mean, we should tell Kayla if she ever has a tag team on MCW, me and her.
No, I'm the tag team champions.
No, I am. I mean, it's who was Raiden's favorite? Did he used to hate John Cena, or was he doing?
His favorite was always Triple H and the Heartbreak Kid when they're NWO stuff.
DX?
The Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Because he's the type, he gets into studying things. He sees something, he likes it, he studies it, he learns everything from A to Z. And he got into watching older matches and he subscribed to the WWE network. And, he really got into that Attitude Era. And he really got into watching those two and their shenanigans. And he really got into it. So I would say that, they hold a special place for him, especially Triple H. So
that's why.
And Shawn Michaels. Cute story. He'll probably punch me for later, but he was about 7 or 8, and I bought him, the WWE game, and it had Shawn Michaels' theme song, the sexy boy, and he's just like standing there with his remote. I'm just a sexy boy, and it was the cutest thing ever. And I'm just kind of like peeked behind a corner watching him, and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's okay. I mean, that's okay to tell an embarrassing story. On Christmas, Mel finally bought me one of those robes, and now I'm like strutting around like Ric Flair with it.
Because it's a long black robe, it's got a hood on it, and the first thing he did when he tried the damn thing on is he started like walking like Ric Flair. I'm like, and then he was trying to do the Rocky stuff as well. I'm like, shoot me, please. Yeah.
Well, let's see, like a little fun story, a little fun fact. As a matter of fact, I was sitting ringside for the second ever In Your House pay per view, and I noticed you might like the story, but Bret Hart actually high five, and it was actually cool because I was like, "Wow, I got a high five by Bret." And then Undertaker came out, and I was just like, "Bret who?" I was like, because I was scared. I mean, like I love the Undertaker, but I was scared of him as a kid. Like when he used to do those funeral parlors and put the Ultimate Warrior in the casket, and then he would go like this and talk out of the casket when Yokozuna put him in there. I'm just like, But then I grew up for that mystique of him. But I mean, yeah, Shawn and Triple H did a lot of shenanigans back in the day, and the fact that Raiden studies stuff is
Yes.
one of the reasons why I got pretty good at it. Because you
Yep.
got to be a student in the game, you got to study people.
Yes, and he definitely, once he's into something, he studies it, he researches it, he learns it, he talks about it. So he's invested a lot of time into learning this stuff, and he'll kind of pop quiz me, and I'm like, okay, I know who you're talking about, but I have to Google that. Hold on. Not gonna lie, I know what you're saying, I know what you're talking about, but let me get on the same page here. Hold on. So
That's how I kind of learn with my hands. I just, I'm the physical kind of person where I have to physically do it in order to get it. That's just me, though.
mhm.
Well, I know that one of the talks we had before, you said you were into AJ Lee and Stephanie.
Yes, because I've kind of watched how they've worked as performers and as managers just to kind of see how they work. And I would say one of my favorite things is AJ's Black Widow. That's my goal.
Yeah. It's not easy to do. I've tried it before. I've actually been in one before.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to
You've
do.
done it to other people, which is easier.
It doesn't look easy, but I know at some point that's something I want to try for sure because it just looks amazing.
If you remember,
basically, like in my from what I can see of the actual move itself or the way the submission hold is done, is it requires a little bit of the hurricanrana and just like you have to be already into something. You have to go like around and then basically like wrap your legs around, and it's a tough submission. Like I said, I've been in it a couple times. It's not easy, and I've done it to people too. Yeah.
If you remember Paige's submission, she had to do that thing where it looked like she's grabbing a hold of their arms and she's squatting and has their legs like that. Like Mel's done that to people.
Yeah.
The PTO, which is not easy either because that's a lot of leg strength to hold someone like that. So when I see these submission moves, I'm just like, some of those people who create stuff, and I'm like, I've never seen that before. It's is there a favorite John Cena match you've had?
Oh man. Honestly, my favorite thing about John Cena, and it goes beyond matches, is the fact that he actually gets into character and goes and visits kids that are, the Make-A-Wish kids and goes to the hospitals on his own dime, on his own time, and does for the kids. That's my favorite thing about him. Matches, they're all amazing, and I love the You Can't See Me, and of course the 5-knuckle shuffle. How can you not? That's great. That's great.
One of my favorite things about Cena is that he actually gets into it when people would do the whole John Cena sucks. He would just start going.
Yep, and he just. Yep, just his character in general. Just you can see a lot. In him. He's not only is he just a great wrestler, but he's also he lives it and he breathes it, and he does a lot. He gives back too. So that's one of my favorite things about him. But as far as matches, I can't say one that I've seen that I dislike.
I will say this much though, at least I mean I know he's getting bigger in Hollywood.
He is,
but he still takes time to come back and do stuff.
Oh
which,
yeah.
which is more than I can say for Dwayne.
Yeah, that's true. He went all Hollywood, kind of forgot.
I can't. The Rock is just such an overrated person.
But The Rock was so good back then with his
Back
mics.
then, yeah.
He was just.
Back then, yeah, but not now. I'm just like, whatever, dude. You sold out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he did sell out.
I think he came back in 2011, not just to do that match with Cena, the 2 matches with Cena. I think he came back because he knew his movies were struggling.
Yeah.
And he needed that.
I mean, who?
The Rock. Yeah, he knew.
I mean, heck, he did the movie Doom.
We don't talk about Doom.
Why not? It was a shitty movie, but he chose to do it. So,
Is there anybody that?
I mean,
you,
I don't know how much. I don't know how much longer.
Okay, we'll go a little bit more. Is there anybody in wrestling that you didn't like, that you were annoyed with, and kind of like?
I don't know what it is about Rey Mysterio, but I don't know that I like him or not. I don't know what it is. He's a great wrestler. Don't get me wrong. But there's just something about him that just strikes me. I don't get it.
Is there any of the women you didn't like?
Oh, I honestly can't say I did not. There's not one that I didn't like. I know they tried to portray Mickie James in a bad light, which trying to get haters on her. However, no. I don't like what happened to some of the female wrestlers, but as far as one that I didn't like, I can't really think of any. The only one that I have kind of a question about is that I kind of question, like, why did you do that when you were successful over here, is Ronda Rousey. You know, she was already established as an MMA fighter. She had her thing going, and then she joined WWE, and I'm just kind of thinking, why?
Her first run with WWE was actually not bad. This return she had from last year to now been bad.
Yeah, from what I've seen and heard, yeah, she hasn't been that fantastic since the return. I think she's a new mom too, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a very overrated person. Also, another person I forgot that you like. You like Edge.
Yes, I do. I do like Edge.
Edge is good. I like Edge too. I was glad to see him come back. You know, he took off for a long time due to health, and I was glad to see him come back.
Not digging the short hair Edge, but well, I mean, it is what it is. Is there any? Let's see, who else we got on there that we? Who does Raiden not like? I'm kind of curious.
I don't think he's a big fan of Sheamus.
Well, I mean, when Sheamus comes out with that big old bright light and he's like blinding.
I remember the first time Sheamus came out on the stage, or came out, and we were all like, thinking he's a little bit of sun. Because, man, that is one white man.
Yes.
I mean, he looks like a ghost, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Well, apparently, from what Sheamus has said, that he's tried to get tan, but he can't. He's been to tanning salons. He's been this and that. It's just he can't.
He just can't tan.
No.
I understand the struggle. It's real.
Some people are that way. They just can't tan, and it's just. Paige is one of them that can't.
Well, I mean, yes and no.
What's up, Prodigal Hill? Now, my buddy here, the Prodigal Hill, he does a spoof of John Cena.
Oh.
He's got the mask of John Cena. He'll come on there and he'll be like, "You better not. You better sell to John Cena."
Yep.
Daddy Vince told me to sell.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of hilarious. There's actually a video of me interviewing him as Cena, and it's just we're talking about the Fast movie, and he's like, "Vin Diesel better sell." But I think a lot of things is that when you go to wrestling show, have you and Raiden been to some WWE shows?
Yes, and actually we're planning on going to one in March. They're having one locally. I forgot what day it is, but they're having one locally at the BMO Harris Center in Rockford. And we were planning on going. We try to go when they come around. We've been to maybe 2 or 3 of them, and we've been to All In. We've been to that too, which we were lucky to get tickets. I'm glad Raiden's like, Mom, I need your debit card. I gotta get tickets. Well, what? And he actually managed to score tickets for us to go to All In, which was pretty sweet. So yeah, we've been to a few WWE and other shows as well. So
Now, is y'all more of WWE fans or more of AEW wrestling fans?
he's more WWE. He doesn't like Vince, but I think that kind of goes. That's kind of universal, honestly. But I don't think anybody likes that guy. But he's definitely been more into WWE, and he's watched, he's watched the other
Yeah.
wrestlers, he's watched the other programs and everything. But I think his favorite is still WWE.
Is he learning? Is he learning the Sweet Chin music? Is that what he's trying to?
He's trying. Yep. He's trying.
Well, I mean, he is a tall. He's like what 6?
He's 6'3".
Wow, he's about as tall as my little brother.
Yeah, he's
He's
6'3".
Not so little anymore.
No.
He's tall. He's tall, but then again, Sean was only like 5'11", 6 foot. So
Right.
when Sean did the Sweet Chin music, he had to stretch his leg out more. But timing is everything. I'm sure once Raiden watches it more and more and more, he'll figure it out.
Oh yeah.
We need to do part 2 of this, so we have a little bit more time.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2.
You know?
Yes, part 2. Maybe I can have Raiden hop on too.
Yeah, then we can get try to get some other people on here too. See what they think. Or maybe I might get the prodigal. He'll come on and see him and be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
You don't understand. When he does that, I can't. It's just so funny to me. It's great.
And then when you can always. I should do this for Raiden because I don't know if he likes Stone Cold or not. But I'll be like, "You're damn right. Let me tell you something, you little piece of trash."
Yeah.
I always wanted to get like an Austin mask and start doing that to people. Like, hey, what? Now, I know one person that Mel does not like. She does not like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he's one I'm not really fond of him either.
I'm sorry, I just can't. It's just even when he's a face, I'm just like, ew.
Yeah.
Like everything about him just screams like he comes off like a wife beater.
He kind of does. I get that vibe.
He comes off like he would literally beat the shit out of any woman he sees or anybody in his path. It doesn't matter who it is.
Well, I know he's married to Sable.
Well, I understand that. I mean, okay. I'm just saying. He just doesn't look nice at all.
You know what's
No.
you know what's interesting is when Mel was watching it, she would get Austin and Goldberg confused. And when I was watching the Austin's podcast when Goldberg was on there, Goldberg's like, yeah. Every time I would go to the when I would go get on my plane, they would think, oh, hi, Mr. Austin. He's like, I'm Goldberg, not Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, his cowboy thing is pretty good. I mean, Brock's. But anyways, though, were some of the guys were surprised about you being a wrestling fan, but I'm guessing some of the women are like, you like that? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Because I would always, like for years, Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, they were staples. And like, nope, I'm watching this tonight. I'm watching this and people are just like, why do you watch that? It's just like, not okay. I was like, well, because I think it's cool. It's fun.
I'd be like, well, what show is your favorite? Well, I like to watch The Bachelor. Why do you like that?
Right. Why do you watch that? Like,
Mel would rather go on The Bachelor and start suplexing all those girls.
I was giving it an example, but okay. Jesus.
I mean, those girl. I mean, I'll tell you one woman, Trish Stratus. If anybody's ever followed her on TikTok, the fact that that woman looks that age, and
Well,
looks,
you have to keep in mind too. She's also
but she looks,
probably had a little bit of work done.
but she's also a yoga instructor.
She's
so-
also okay. Well, I mean, she's got some money.
But the fact that she looks better now than she did even when she was on there,
That can happen.
that's. I felt like when Edge came back, Edge was better than he did back then. Like Edge looks better now. And of course, I think you also liked Beth Phoenix, didn't you?
I did. I did like Beth Phoenix. I also liked what's her face?
Candice Michelle.
Candice Michelle.
Mhm.
I really liked Candice. But like I said, all the ones that I really liked, they're not on there anymore. So that's why I really don't follow it as much anymore like I used to, because all the people that I liked are no longer really on the shows now. So, and now I look at some of them and I'm like, there is one female wrestler on there that I can't stand, that I really can't stand. Maybe it's just because the fact of how they yell is Liv Morgan. I can't fucking stand her to save my life. I don't know what it is. And there's another one that's on there that always screams. Or maybe that is Liv Morgan. I don't even know.
Liv Morgan.
Yeah. It's like, ah! I'm like, every time she's like, oh my God, ah!
Oh, that sounds painful.
Yes. So,
Out of the new group of people out there now, I will
what
say,
time do you have to go? Just out of curiosity.
I have to go. I have to leave by 2:45 Central Time.
I think
Okay,
we'll
so
wrap it up here in a minute.
here in just a few minutes we'll wrap it up. Okay.
I think
Yeah.
I think
Because
the one,
I have to be somewhere at 3:15, and then I have to be somewhere else at 5. So yeah, we'll have to definitely do a part 2.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think the woman that I actually one of the younger women that I like now is I actually like Rhea Ripley. I think she's kind of got a little golfing to her, and then she's a powerhouse. She's kind of
Mhm.
like they're kind of dubbing her the next China, which there's only one China. You can't really.
There is only one China. She was the best. And it's
You
so
can't-
sad. It's her story is just heartbreaking, and it makes me feel so bad. It's just truly heartbreaking.
Let's see. Prodigal Hill said Trish is a little bitty thing. I can almost step over Trish. Well, then again, though, AJ Lee was like what 5'2" and only
Yeah, she's petite. She's a petite one. Yeah, she's 5'1", 5'2". She's very petite.
Yep.
Now, when we used to do the wrestling, and when Mel would do the wrestling, people would also look at us and be like, "You do wrestling?" And all of a sudden, Mel would, like, especially
Who said that?
Mel, former friends that we used to have, would be like, "You do that?" And I was like, I can throw you on the ground." Mel had that girl on the ground like
Oh,
quick.
I think
Nice.
when someone tries to size me up, I'm like, don't fuck with me.
Exactly.
So much better than I'm so. You can look at me and I might look like a string bean, but I will beat your ass until into the third world.
Right.
So back
Like
then,
never-
I didn't have that mentality.
Never judge a book by its cover.
ever.
That's why I'm always looking at Kayla like, "Are you really sure you want us to come?"
Yeah, the crazy thing is Kayla doesn't realize that nobody really does. I'm actually quite, I don't mean to be, but I can be mean. Physically.
Yep.
Because I really get into shit. I really do. I have like a power behind my swings. I don't intend to hurt. Sometimes it
Right.
happens, But I also was doing it with him for almost 15 years, so off and on.
Right.
It's amateurly, so needless to say, he turned me into a monster. So if anybody gets hurt, they can thank him.
How tall is Mel? Mel is
I'm
5'7".
5'7".
Okay.
Now, if you put her in heels,
If I'm 5, if you put me in heels, I'm about 6'1".
hmm
Well, maybe 5'10". I'll go with 5'10". But yeah, I'm 5'7".
You're 5'10", right?
I'm 5'9", 5'10". I
5'9".
have I have heels that make me stand as tall as my kid is. So I'm 6'3" in a pair of heels that I have.
I know that Raiden likes watching the Attitude Era, but you gotta get him to watch the Golden Era, where it had like Hogan and Macho Man and Jake Roberts and Piper, and have him watch a couple of old NWA stuff or old Texas wrestling with the Von Erichs and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because yeah, that's really like so that I mean because submission was really good back then. Like the Von Erichs had the Iron Claw like to the head, and one of my favorite matches my dad took me to was to see. I actually went to a Ric Flair Terry Funk match, and if I'm sure Raiden knows who Terry Funk is.
Oh, Jerry Lawler?
No, Terry Funk.
Oh, Terry. I'm sure he does. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he knows who Terry Funk is. And then we all know that Jerry Lawler had that little match with Andy Kaufman.
Yes, he had the match with Andy Kaufman, and it was classic because I don't think Andy Kaufman knew what he was signing up for.
No.
He sure the hell did not know what he was signing up for, and that was what made it so classic.
Well, that's why when Jim made the movie, apparently Jerry Lawler said that Jim got so into character that he felt like he was talking to Andy again.
Well, it was like what happened with the guy that played Elvis. Same with that principles. Like the the Evan Peters playing Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, when you get into a role,
that is you become that.
That's the part of method acting that is amazing to me. And there's some amazing, phenomenal actors out there who can do just about anything. So.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
The Von Erichs was my thing. Okay, the Von Erichs were my thing. You should check out the feud between Jimmy Garvin and Stella Mae French. Yeah, if he has the WWE Network or Peacock, make sure Raiden check some of that out because
I will for sure.
Some of the old school wrestling is more psychological. There's more. It looked more realistic than I think the wrestling does now. Because every time you see wrestling now, it's like flips. Here, let's go fly. Let's kick out at every finisher we do, and it's just they don't tell stories like they used to.
No, they don't.
But I know it's getting 2:39, so I know that you're gonna have to fly the coop.
I gotta fly. But thank you guys for having me on today, and we'll definitely have to do a part 2 for sure.
And good luck with your thing later.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I need it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I have to ask, are y'all watching the Super Bowl this year?
I don't know. I'm torn. I kind of want to, but I kind of don't. My team didn't make it.
What's your
team? It's okay. But it's always fun to watch just for the commercials and everything else. So we might just wind up watching some of it.
Who's your team?
I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying this out loud, but Green Bay.
I'm a Green Bay fan too.
Yes!
Yep.
I heard that's from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But she's also an Eagles fan too.
Yep.
So she's happy about that part because mom was from New Jersey. Dad was from Wisconsin.
Ah.
Well, actually, she's not from New Jersey. She's from fucking New York. Thank
Brooklyn.
You very much.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. So I was just kind of curious if you guys were watching the Super Bowl. I know some people were. Or not.
We might. I don't know for sure. It's really up in the air. I don't know what Sunday is going to bring. So, but hopefully I get to watch some of it at least. So.
It just sucks that we won't have Dr. Dre performing this year.
That's all right.
Anyways, though, we'll come and do a part 2.
We'll do a part 2 soon.
We'll have Raiden come in here, and I would love to quiz him.
And he would love to be quizzed, so that would be great. That would be awesome.
And then probably get some others to come on here, maybe, and we'll see what happens.
All right,
cool. Well, thank you guys again.
Of course.
Thank you.
And like I said, good luck, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Got it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so before we leave, just like, share, and sub. We got part 2 coming up of that later on. We're gonna I'm gonna dive a little bit more deep into the NFL world with. I know some couple of fans are playing FanDuel, and they've been losing money on FanDuel, and I've been trying to tell them not to do FanDuel or any of these bet sites because, and Prodigal Hill would know what I'm talking about here. The NFL is nothing but a big rig piece of shit sometimes, and I know some fans of the Bengals were pissed off because they felt like the referees screwed them in that game against Kansas City. I didn't watch the game, so I'm just going by highlights and what I've heard. So we're not going to get a panel together, and we're going to see who's going to win the Super Bowl, Kansas City or Philadelphia, and Andy Reid's facing his former team in the Super Bowl, so we're gonna do a little bit more of that as well. So also, we're me and Mel did go see the movie Megan, like, was it 2 weeks ago? So we might do a review on it, see how you guys like it.
Lanny Poffo passed away.
Oh, Lenny Poffo, shit. I would have
68
cleaned.
years old.
I would have cleaned house. People were asking how I knew the results in the YouTube comments. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know these things. But anyways, though, we've been up since 6 a.m, so we're gonna skedaddle.
We'll be back.
Thanks for making your comments in there, and rest in peace, Lanny Poffo, the brother of the Macho Man Savage. Yeah. Bye bye.
See y'all later.
You better not.